Right, we are now on the penultimate stage of the Megazord refurb. Mastodon has been all painted, primed, painted, lacquered, and is looking very nice. So, and it's also has been one of the trickiest, fiddliest, lots of little bits, lots of little screws, as we saw in the deconstruct video. My gosh, you got to be careful with this one. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to fix the shield clip back into the head. And remember, we've got the little short screws. Slightly shorter screws than the regular. So we'll get that. Again, not too tight, just enough so we can make sure it works okay. And the trunk and the tusks, they just click back in quite easily. And there we go. So put them to one side for the moment. Now, I will say, in the spirit of Blue Peter, here's one I prepared earlier. I did this shoulder. We'll call it the shoulder side, right, because of these annoying little clips and this spring clicker just there. Real pain, but we can plod through. So, as I saw in the deconstruct video, there's three red pins, 1, 2, 3, and they slot back into place there. Now you got to watch out because they're keyed different shapes, different slots, but that's pretty easy to figure out. One, if it's the wrong shape, it simply won't fit. So I'm going to put this matching outer carapace back on. Let's click that. Get that back into place. Toot sweet. Put pins off again. Now, one thing I will say, well, I say lots of things, there'll be many one things I just say, but the screws adjust the tension on that little flange that goes into the shoulder. That allows you to take the shoulder off, click it back on easy. I don't know if you can see, but it's gone down to about 2 spring coils. It's a long screw, probably about 4 or 5 turns. You might have to tweak it slightly depending on your Zord. So the next fun step, you need to take, and I've got the screws ready, each of the leg sections. I'll do that little screw in there first. Now again, this is one of our old friends, little flange screw. Don't lose it or you'll have a real bad day. Unless you've got a big bucket full of same size flange screws. Right, so I'm going to do the other one. Oops, come back here. And while we're at it, we'll do the other sides as well. It's getting a bit late in the evening and it's very hot in my garage here. So if I go silent, I'll probably die from heat exhaustion. Don't worry, nothing serious. Now, you'll notice that I marked each of these or right or left, like Jimmy Cricket in it. And each one of these arm sides, again like the saber-toothed tiger and the Triceratops, I don't know if you can see it, you should see a little L or an R. I don't know if you can quite see that. So basically, R goes on R for right, L for left. So that's left and that's right. So now here's where it starts to get a little tricky. When the Mastodon is folded up and is Zord form, that's where those tension springs come in. It goes on that side. Make sure the screw holes are pointing out on each side. So let's open that up again. Now, another one of the little red clips. Ping it away. Yeah, be careful. That slots in what will be the shoulder. Now, this is where it gets all very fiddly because these parts, you almost have to balance them as you go. So now you're going to need corresponding leg sections. That's R1. And that should be R2, R2 and R1. Make sure those go together. Yeah, nicely. Now, in each of these, we do need to put his feet together. But before you go and whack that together, we need a little blue clip in there. Put them together. Now, little guide, the grey parts, use the silver screws. Black parts, use the black screws. But it's up to you, you know, if you wanted to use different color screws, if you wanted to color them, you know, day glow green and, you know, bright red or something, it's entirely up to you. That doesn't really matter. I'm telling you how I'm going to do it. Now, I need to make sure we've got the right section there. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take this arm off. We're going to put that one on, because we've got this, remember from the deconstruct video, we've got another one of our old friends, little click joint. So let's get springs, and as usual, a little dab of Vaseline on them to help free them up a little bit. Nothing rude. I'll put a little dab on the axle sections as well, just to help things along, as Austin Powers would say. So again, make sure you hold these steady, they're a bit fiddly. So now you can see we've got the clicker and spring. Don't tip it up or else it'll spring off. So put a little dab of Vaseline again just inside the clicker bits, help move things along. And that section really fits on there. So you can just test it, give it a wiggle. You actually can do. Take that red clip again and actually pop it back, pop it into this. Yeah, there you go. That's why you got to watch out for it. Goes into. Oops. They can be slippery little suckers. So now, with that in place, we put the other corresponding. Wait, I got ahead of myself. I'm going to put a little Vaseline inside that arm and a little on the joint again, just to try and help mitigate some of the scuffing. Will be scuffing of the paintwork because it's paint and the nature of the way these guys click and move together. You will get scuffage. So don't be too hard on yourself if you do. So silver screw in there. And the silver screw into the shoulder joint there. Oh, bugger. Yeah, I don't want to go and scratch my own paintwork after all that. I've done that before, and that's a real pain. A black screw into that little joint. Just there. Test that. Yep, it works. That's good. Now open it up as if he's going to form the Megazord. I forget which way these go around. Yep, there we go. Now, as you may note, you'll see there is a little bit of paint scuffage there. You can try a little dab of Vaseline. But this one is quite close coupled. There's going to be, you can try a little bit, but there will always be some scuffage with this guy, especially if you paint. So, depends if you want to paint or not. Now, we could use, I like to call them shoulder blades. No, not shoulder blades. Top armor again. A little bit of Vaseline just to free things up a little bit. One simply quite neatly clicks into the other side. Our old friends, the black screws. Dum, 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 dum. I bet Alpha 5 and Zord didn't have to sit there, or maybe they did. Did they have to sit there taking them all apart and putting all the bits back together every time? Maybe they did. Maybe that's why Zord hides in a bottle and pretends, not to have any hands. Zord, can't you help me do this? Alpha, I have no hands, can't you see? What's your problem? Oh, fair enough. Something like that. Yeah, it's getting late and it's hot here, so I'm sure they didn't have to sit here and like this. I got ahead of myself again. Let's turn him around. And we shall do the other arm. Because we've got our old friend, the clicker here. So, get that there. Just do carefully there. Then again, Zordon and Alpha had Alfred? Zordon and Alpha. They did have like 10,000 years waiting around for Rita to show up, or Rita, as Zordon likes to call her. Right, so again, the spring clickers go on there. And the last little red clip goes just in there. And again, remember, hold it all level until you put it all back together, otherwise everything's going to go flying. So that part's ready. So now again we get the other leg. Oops, gone a bit wonky. There we go. Okay, that's better. Right, again, another silver screw in here. One day maybe I'll do some multimedia course or something like that. Make these way quicker. But there we go. Okay, so that's the other leg. And again, speed isn't always a good thing. My wife might not agree, but hey, there we go. Right, so now, again, carefully. Now, this is where it also gets fiddly, because these parts, they really like to just, if you're not careful, it will just all collapse on itself because it's just loose fit. So he's going to go in there. Let's give him a little test. And that top section, again, slots onto the other side. Now, if this happens, if that comes slightly out of alignment, just give it a wiggle. And I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but inside, I don't know if you can really see it. The edges of these two halves should go inside the black circle on the shoulder. So that's a guide they're going to click in so they stay in place nicely. Don't know if that showed up on the video or not. It's alright, so there's that last screw in the elbow. Back screw into that section. Right. So now we're on the home stretch, but let's not pat ourselves on the back just yet, because it's always right at these last steps. That's when things go wrong. Let's put a dab of line just on that bit. It sounds a little, as long as the paint makes it sound a little bit rough. It's not really, but okay. And again, screw in the shoulder pad there. Let's just double check. One's done up. It's done up. And now we have might be a little bit snug. We don't need it too tight. There we go. The back end mostly done. But oi, Jez, I hear you shout. You've forgotten something. No, I haven't. Don't worry. What I have done is bump my head on the camera, and I've annoyed. Oh, there it is. I was looking for the last couple of screws. We got them there. And it is little booties. They slot into these keyed slots. You can't go far wrong. Well, I mean, you can, but you'll break it. They slot in there. Turn back over the other way. And you may wonder why I'm using like a great long screw and a little short screw there. Well, the feet are hollow. When I took them apart originally, I had a long screw in there, so maybe someone took them apart long ago, some point. But that's okay. We don't mind that. So last screw. He goes. Oops. In there. Again, just nicely snug, not too tight. So again, I think we just might need just a minor correction. Okay. I thought the screw had come loose. That's okay. I'll do again. And a couple of dabs of Vaseline on the thing, so like it was rubbing a bit. It will do. Again, scuffage. Not a lot we can do about that. Just wipe off. Just try and keep it clean. The thing about these, once you and any models really, once you've done repainting, is that it's like the toy fixer in Toy Story 2 said, they're for display only. If you play with them, they're not going to last. And it is true. truly a labour of love, this kind of thing. And I've just got some Vaseline on my hands, just give them a quick wipe. We'll give them a quick wipe down as well, just to make sure, because I've probably got Vaseline-y fingerprints. Don't worry, it wasn't a loose screw or something, it's just no bit of wire that I use for holding things up. Right, so that is the Mastodon, but once again I hear you shout, he's headless. Don't worry, this is our last little step. And here's where it could all come clattering down. If I haven't done it right, his head's just going to fall off like a mad thing. Haha. So, there we go. As Zack will shout, Mastodon! Right, so that is the Mastodon repainted, deconstructed, reconstructed, and Zordified again, ready for testing. Now, speaking of testing, I'm sure I heard everyone collectively shout, put him on the Tyrannosaurus. Okay, I will. Let's just get him ready. So, off. Get those ready. Let's take those little guides right and left. That. Yeah, if you remember one of those, the head came out into the chest, comes out, pull the tail down, and once again, if I've done my job right, it should. I've gotten ahead of myself. I didn't. I just said the head goes in the chest. No, I didn't put it in the chest, did I? And boom. Yes, it fits. But hey, Jez, what about the Triceratops, saber-toothed tiger, and the pterodactyl? Well, sorry kids, you'll have to wait for that. Right. Laters, may the power protect you.